What's going on, y'all, man? Something to get off my chest. I was on the live last night, man, and it was, you know what I'm saying, needless to say, extra lit on Trenches News. I was on there with 063 Big Dale, and I was sharing a part of a story that, you know, I thought I'd do a video on now. And it's basically about how a person can, you know, have everything at their disposal as far as, you know, the normal factors that people say what drives kids out into the streets and whatnot, you know, the single parent homes or, you know, lack of education, all these different things. And it's very easy for some people to say, well, if it was the parents should do that. And it's like, you know, sometimes parents do all they can. And so my story, and luckily it didn't end the tragic way, but here it is. All right. I grew up on the west side of Chicago on West End and Waller. You know, California, Harrison, West End and Waller. All right. I always had a two-parent home up until I was like 15. But at that point, you know, it didn't matter. But leading up to that, had a two-parent home. Both parents very involved. Brothers was involved. You know, we were a family. We actually ate dinner at the table and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We was together like that. My parents, they were the landlords back in the 80s. And then we moved on West End and Waller early 90s, around 90 or 91 or something like that. Yeah, 90. And, you know, I didn't want for anything. I was told that all I had to do was go to school and then take care of the rest. I don't need to be out in the streets. But, you know, the streets is around. Once you leave out the confines of the house, that's what's out there. The hood, the streets. You know what I mean? And so, you know, it wasn't, you know, you had, you know, your gang activity and whatnot. But as we always say, it was structured back then. So no, wasn't nobody coming trying to make me join this or join that. My affiliation is from my own choice. And mommy and daddy had no idea what I was doing when I left out the house. They couldn't see everything I was doing. You know, I was doing the normal knucklehead stuff anybody does. You know, most kids do. I ain't gonna say any kid, but most kids do. You know what I'm saying? All the little stuff to get you in trouble, running from the police for curfew, actual childhood. You know, we could still play outside. But as things begin to change, you know, I stayed on that path. I didn't want for anything. I didn't need to, you know, rob, kill, and steal, you know, which is a blessing. However, there were those around me who would try to make me feel less than because I didn't live that way. You know what I mean? And it wasn't that I was any less capable or scared or anything. It was actually quite the opposite. I didn't want to sell drugs. I didn't have the patience to stand out there day after day, night after night, you know, to work a pack only to get, you know, it's $100 pack and you only get $20 off of it. And then you go back out there for hours while somebody else sitting there, you know, getting rich. And, you know, they want to show up every once in a while in their little fancy car or whatever and flash and kick it and then bounce. You know what I'm saying? I was about the violence. I wanted to be the shooter. I wanted to be a killer. Why would I want to do that? You might say. Here it is. I don't want for anything. Got, you know, the best life I could possibly imagine. So why would I want to do that? What in my brain makes me want to do that? You think it was, maybe I was bored with, you know, having everything so easy, and you know, it wasn't easy. They had to work, you know what I mean? They had to hustle, but it wasn't out of boredom or feeling like, oh, I want to be so real. My initial anger came from hating the people who gave me a hard time for making it seem like going to school was a bad thing. That was lame. Okay. Or respecting elders, not cursing in front of them was considered lame, you know, to some, not all, you know, it's a lot of them, you know, a lot of people who's cool, but I'm just talking about a specific group out of everybody that we, you know, hung in that same area. You know what I mean? And no, I wasn't like beat up every day or nothing like that. It was just a constant harassment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, some of them used to try to make me feel like I was unsafe, make me feel threatened or whatnot, but nothing ever came of it. But the way I processed that was, you know, I wanted to kill evil by killing the person. You know, I didn't understand that, you know, something like that you just can't get rid of. You know what I mean? There's always going to be people who like you and don't like you. But that's not how I took it back then. It was personal, you know, because here's, you know, on one hand, you got what your elders, your parents and everybody telling you, you know, you keep your head down, you know, believe you can achieve, you do this, you do that. All right. And then on the other end, I'm seeing a totally different life when I go outside the house or outside the classroom. It's a totally different life that's just like throwing that all back in my face. Like, wait a minute. Here I'm hearing all this, you know, treat people right and they treat you right and all these different things, you know, play fair, blah, blah, blah. But yet my reality is telling me something totally different. So we got a cognitive dissonance going on here. I'm like, wait, well, on the one hand, yeah, I'm making you guys happy because I'm living according to these social norms. But on the other end, I'm getting chewed up in a sense, you know, because none of this fits. You know, you can't be good to the girls because they just do you wrong and cheat on you. You know, the dudes just think you weak and they feel like they want to press you until you fight back. You know what I mean? And then it's just a constant judgment. So who's wrong and who's right? That's what I was wondering. But hey, you know what? Good things come to those who wait and all the other stuff, all the other cliches. So that's what I did. But eventually it got to the point where I couldn't think about nothing but everybody that I hated for not liking me for what I was doing. I didn't understand that, you know, sometimes my light irritates their demons type deal. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get all that back then. You know, all I saw was somebody was being bullies. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I wanted to lash out. So that's how it started. And luckily, you know, yeah, I was gang affiliated and all that, but I wasn't like extra active, you know, and little things happen here and there, but you know, that's nothing. But, I stayed true to that original course, you know what I'm saying? And I learned things along the way. You know, I learned about the streets. I didn't have to be in it. I had enough people around to witness and see what they go through, to see what works and what don't, and realize that overall it's not something that I want for myself. You know, just because I kicked it with everybody don't mean I was a part of it. You know what I mean? And a few times I was enticed. But overall, I had certain people around that I just did not want to see alive anymore, you know, and a lot of things stopped me. One of the main things that stopped me was, you know, I have a conscience, you know, I had people that taught me right. Secondly, I lived in the area, so it's not like I could do much and, you know, people would know who it was. All right. But the most important thing is because they were the ones right there is the other guys on the block, the other guys on the street, the OGs on the street, keeping the guns out of our hands, not just my hand, but all the shorties. You know, some aspired to sell dope. Me, I wanted to be the shooter. You know, initially it was just, okay, I want these people in this immediate area dead. I want them gone because I don't like what they're doing to me and I don't like how they do it to other people and they only do it to certain ones. You see what I'm saying? It was now to where I wanted to get everybody who represented that no matter where they were. I wouldn't know their story. I wouldn't know how they got to where they are, why they are the way they are. I just wanted them gone because they reminded me, you know, I had an archetype of what I didn't like and I wanted to destroy that. Man, I'm so glad I didn't, you know, because now that I'm mature, I realize that somehow the universe saves you. It keeps you, you know, it uses people to push you away from a certain thing. Like, you know, aside from the people who telling me like, look, man, this ain't what you want, da, 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 da. Those other people that was pushing me away and making it such a turnoff was actually the universe saying, I got something else for you. Just because you're a part of it don't mean you have to be a part of it. You know, yeah, you can't help where you grew up, but how you grow up is totally different, you know? So I had a choice and I made that choice. You know what I mean? But, you know, things that took place in between all that, between then and my realization of that now, you know, I had a lot of time to think about it. And, you know, I do thank those people, even the ones that gave me a hard time. You know, I know that had I not had those guys back then to do that and tell me those things. Now, mind you, forget what my parents said. You know, because even though I had them in a home and all that, I had to live out there. And so, yeah, I'm going to gravitate. I'm trying to take in what's given to me out there more because it's like I can't stay at home. I'm not going to stay in the house all the time. You know, I'm not like sheltered like that where they keep me in and all that. No. And then eventually they got so busy. They ain't had no time to, well, they couldn't watch me anyway, but I didn't need a babysitter. You know, I'm 12, 13, going on 14, whatever. I'm out there all times of night, you know what I'm saying? But they trusted me. They gave me all the tools that I needed thus far, you know what I'm saying? So I knew right from wrong. I knew everything that I needed to know as far as just, you know, having my head right. And so every decision I made was mine and mine alone. You know, if I'd have got locked up for going to jail or something, there would not, I could not say, well, my daddy or my mama or these people or that, you know, I would have nobody else to blame but myself, because I knew what I wanted, or thought I knew what I wanted. And also I know that I would have been dead because I was feeling that reckless. Just that easy, you know what I'm saying? I had to take it back on myself, you know what I mean? But I was going that way. I'll say around my junior year in high school, you know, it was getting there. You know, I was getting that bug. I don't know what do you call it. There's not even a name for it, but I was just ready to throw everything away. You know, I had, you know, I was looking at a little scholarship to a culinary school, and, you know, just by, you know, the grace of the Most High, my swim coach, out of all people, chose to give my name to a Navy recruiter. I didn't even know he did that. And all of a sudden I got a phone call and everything went from there. I mean, just so fast, I was like, I know I got to get out of Chicago. I know I got to get out of there. And that's what I did. I know, you know what I'm saying, Coach Anderson, he saved my life. You know, I know that all the people on the block, all the OGs, everybody who gave a damn saved my life, because they knew that I had it in me to do it, you know. But I got a chance to talk to a couple, and they said, no, they would put me down like that to discourage me. You know what I'm saying? Not for me to go and try to prove that I could do it, but they wanted to discourage me from it. It was tough love to give me a hard time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we gotta, you know, realize that love comes in many forms. Sometimes it may come in the form of the person or of something that you don't necessarily like the way it sounds, or the person that it's coming from. But, you know, how we say love languages, or, you know, people love however they can. You know, everybody's unique. I look at it as love now. I choose not to look at it as hate. You know, I don't even think they hated me then. You know, it was just something about me that bothered them. And it's like, yeah, it's true. I didn't belong. I didn't know why I didn't belong. Maybe they didn't know consciously why I didn't belong. You know what I'm saying? At least in that circle, to do those things. You know what I'm saying? Not just as long as I was just around, just kicking it or whatever. It was cool. But when I tried to gravitate towards that life, that's when the hard time would come. I would get the hard time from folks. You know what I'm saying? They just did not want me. And I'm like, man, y'all saved my life. So, yeah, I will always be, you know, eternally grateful to them. But the other part is what I started off with. All this time this is going on, mother and father couldn't see that. If something would have happened, guess what they would have been saying? He's a good boy. He go to school. He don't do anything to anybody. They don't know. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, the whole blame the parents, yeah. Sadly enough, it's enough of a reason to where, yeah, it is a valid reason, but not all the time that's the reason. You know, sometimes we just make our own choices. We make our own choices. Even though we're not 18 or we wasn't grown yet, we still make choices. That's why we were being taught, as, you know, it's called an upbringing. Mom and dad couldn't see that. I could have been doing all kinds of stuff. I could have been a damn serial killer. They wouldn't have known. So let's not knock the parents right away. Let's not jump on their back and automatically, you know, sound like a, you know, after school special or something about single parent homes, because whether it's single parent or two parent, hell, 4 parents, sometimes kids gonna still make their choices, man. And that's just the end of it. And that's all I had to get off my chest. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Know the story first, man. Don't just jump on the parents because it sound good. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to be a Monday morning quarterback with stuff like that, because you just don't know. I am a prime example of everything can be given to you or provided for you, and you have all the right things in place, and it still goes left, possibly. I got lucky. I was blessed. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously back then, my own mind state, you know, I was going to make the wrong choice. I had other people that was there. And that's something that we need as a community, you know, yeah, as a community, I keep it with community. You know what I'm saying? I could just be anywhere, but with the black community, we got to have that. Can't afford to just mind our business just because they ain't your kids. What they do might affect your kids later on. You know, it's good for people to know each other. And you know what I'm saying? You know, we got to get off this, you know, man, you don't know me, you ain't fam and all that. Man, look, man, y'all in the same damn ghetto. Get to know each other. You know what I mean? You never know what favors y'all can do for each other, how y'all might need each other in some time in the future. You know what I'm saying? So if, you know, you see a person in your building every day, y'all never speak. You know what I'm saying? Have a drink, have a smoke, do something. You know what I'm saying? People walking by, speak, greet each other, man. It's okay to be people. It's okay to be neighborly. You know, it ain't thuggish. It ain't gangster. It ain't weak. It ain't nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I said that wrong. It's not weak to be polite, to be nice, to de-escalate a conflict, to engage in a peaceful manner. It's not weak. You know, forget all these instigators. All right. And then, you know, it's a good thing because just from that, let's say somebody was messing with your car. That person that you spoke to now, they might be, I saw they was messing with your car. So somebody messed with your car, I called the police or I ran them off. You know, stuff like that. All it takes, the smallest steps, man. The smallest little steps can change a lot. And I ain't gonna say change everything, and it definitely ain't gonna happen overnight. But the steps gotta be taken by us. And that's all I gotta get off my chest, man. Y'all be smooth.